Hey, good afternoon. On a regular note, hold that phone. When they compiled the books, the Bible means books. Okay, when they compiled it, they tried to find the ones that were relevant to each other. So they explain all the revelation in the different books, but then they left out a lot of books that were deep, very deep, and because they wanted people to be immature, so that's why. One time you could read 80 something books and then you could read 70 something books, and now you're only allowed to read 66. So they hope you do not mature. So that was the goal of the enemy, scholars up in their brain instead of in their heart. So if you reread enough of the books, you can realize that you could probably preach for 2 hours max, and that's like the end of the story because all the revelations explained. It's kind of cryptic, but once you understand all the signs and the times, like Elijah, God was not in the waves, God was not in the wind, God was not in the thunder, because God is in us. So, then it talks about oaks of righteousness, and then usually when it says water, it normally means Spirit of God. But if it says seas, SEAS, seas of people, normally it would mean good seas of people that are in the Spirit. So all this revelation has been explained throughout the books. But the problem is the evangelist, pastors, teachers don't normally hear from God, or some of them hear a little bit. So the thing is they read and read and read, and they think they know what the book says. But like I said, the improper teaching is a major, major issue. Because if you have, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 in your congregation, and you're still feeding them baby breadcrumbs, keep feeding them breadcrumbs, but don't ever feed them to help them to fish for men. You like to say, if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime, but if you give a man a loaf for fish, he'll never stand up. So that's what happens in these circles of religions and churches. You keep getting all this knowledge in a sense, but you never actively participating. So we'll be needed on the front lines, very soon, because people will realize that all they're getting is stale bread. And, it's exciting when you take a new recruit out and, you help them, just pray for them, you'll agree. And then they get an instant healing, and then like they're dumbfounded, but it should be a normal thing. So then the sad thing is, a lot of people start up fairly good in God, and then they get prideful, or they turn it into a ministry. It's kind of rote script, and then the spirit is quenched and there's no more fire. Turns into a business. T-shirt check, taco truck, whatever. So we have to help a lot of people. And like I said, everything that I've been talking about for years, it's just a repeat, just looking at different angles so that even a child can understand, because your children need to grow up in Him, not in a box, like big box store or big box church, okay? And they need to understand that God is personal and how things happen to where, I work with my youngest son, or should I say he works with me. And that's been good because, we get to talk and fellowship in the truck, and he's beginning to understand a lot to where he'll need something for his house, and he'll be patient, look around for it, and then next thing you know, it's right there. Like, we were at a lady's house working, and he wants some end tables. He noticed she had extra end tables. He noticed these two end tables kind of pushed together because she didn't know what to do with them. So he was wondering if she'd sell them. She said, sure. So those end tables went home with him tonight. But he's realizing how, what you focus on expands. If you focus on God and you fear the Lord, then that's what comes upon you. Like Job feared the sins of his children would come upon him and bite him. That's why he was tried. A lot of people don't even realize that. He was codependent with his children. But if what you fear most is God, then what comes upon you is God. And then what are your needs? You need something. If you're a little patient, then you'll find it. Like I wanted an end table and wasn't in a hurry to get it. And sure enough, saw an end table. And by the time I could get the price on it, and then I went back to, because they lowered the price. So I got a nice end table for $3. So, a lot of stuff like that, just minor miracles that people don't notice, people don't realize. And think about that. Jesus is looking out for you. You're looking out for him and his children, God and God's children, then the blessings flow. So, in the past, people were prophesying in the early 2000s that something would happen like a loud shout from heaven. Then all the people would go outside and start fellowshipping with each other, the neighbors. But that shout, the shout like an archangel, is actually a shout of a whole bunch of people who go to and fro the third heaven, just like Paul did, just like the disciples did, just like the prophets did, just like Moses did and Elijah. So the shout is like the last trump is sounding. It's getting louder and louder and louder as more people join, because it's a joint effort. It's a unison, a song in unison, a shout in unison, just like when the walls of Jericho fell down. A shout after what do you call it? Circling it for 7 days, or whatever the days were. I forget the story. I'm a little tired, so forgive me. Go read it yourself. And then a shout. The walls came down. So the walls, the enemy has put up walls, stones of stumbling, liars everywhere. So, as more and more people enter, the excitement in heaven is way stronger than I have ever seen in all these years. And they're excited about what you are going to do next. What are you going to preach, believe, speak out, declare, meditate on, pray into fruition in this time? So you're in a hot seat. All right. God bless you. Appreciate you. God bless.